Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back. Long weekend this weekend, at least for most of us, with President's Day. That's exciting. We've been in the book of Ezra, talking about the rebuilding of the temple and the opposition that came. And we had said that where we left off, the opposition had written a letter to King Darius. And Darius had done some research. We see that research he did is in chapter 6, verses 1 through 5. Got a little bit ahead of myself last week. So we're going to pick up actually in verse number 6 of Ezra chapter 6. Now, therefore, Tataniah, governor beyond the river, and his friend, that starts with an S, and your companions, which are beyond the river, be ye far from thence. Okay, so this is Darius's reply. Verse 7, let the work of this house of God alone. Leave it alone, okay? Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews build this house of God in his place. He comes right out and says it. Let him do it. Verse 8, moreover, I make a decree, what ye shall do to the elders of these Jews for the building of this house of God, that of the king's goods, even of the tribute beyond the river, forthwith expenses be given unto these men, that they be not hindered. Okay, you wrote me a letter, you wanted me to tell them to stop. I'm not telling them to stop, telling them to keep going, and you need to pay for it. You need to give them money so that they're not hindered. They can keep doing what they need to do. Verse 9, and that which they have need of, both young bullocks and rams and lambs for the burnt offerings of the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the appointment of the priests which are at Jerusalem, let it be given them day by day without fail. Okay, so give them what they need to build, give them the money they need, give them the stuff they need to sacrifice, and don't fail. Daily make sure they have all of this. Boys and girls, this plan has backfired on the kings who live around them. Not only did they get told, no, you don't get what you want, they got told they had to let the people keep going, and they had to supply for the people. Verse number 10, that they may offer sacrifices of sweet savors unto the God of heaven and pray for the life of the king and of his sons. Also, I have made a decree that whosoever shall alter this word, let timber be pulled down from his house, and being set up, let him be hanged thereon, and let his house be made a dunghill for this. And the God that hath caused his name to dwell there destroy all kings and people that shall put to their hand to alter and to destroy this house of God which is at Jerusalem. I, Darius, have made a decree. Let it be done with speed. So it says, all right, they need to keep doing what they're doing. You better provide for them. And if you get in the way, exactly, Peter, you're gone. Death penalty for you, okay? And then your whole house is going to be a dunghill. So he says, punishment is coming if you alter. And then he ends it with, and do it speedily. Like, hurry up. No dilly-dallying. No time to sit at home and have a pity party that you didn't get your way. Boys and girls, it's incredible to me to see how God's work was paused for a time in our thinking. In humanly thinking, it got paused. It did. But God had a bigger plan. Now these people who had tried to oppose are being forced to provide. Before they weren't providing, they weren't giving towards the people, and now they had to. God was bringing about provision for his people. Verse number 14. And the elders of the Jews builded, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. And they builded and finished it according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the commandment of Cyrus and Darius and Artaxerxes king of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month Adar, which was in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. Boys and girls, God used kings who weren't Jewish. He used kings from a foreign land to accomplish his mission, to accomplish what he wanted done. The temple did get built. The temple did get finished. The rest of the chapter goes on to talk about how they dedicated the temple and they started having all the feasts like they did before. They were able to celebrate them. in a right way. That's right, Peter. Feast, lots of food. They did what God had asked them to do. Last verse we're going to look at, last verse of chapter 6, verse 22, and kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy. For the Lord had made them joyful and turned the heart of the king of Assyria onto them to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. The work was stopped for a time, but in God's timing, the work was complete. The people who tried to stop God's plan from being done were now forced to give supplies and aid. We talked about that quite a bit when we read, boys and girls. Their plan had backfired on them. The truth always comes out. Boys and girls, they had tried to use deception and the truth came out. God rewards truth. How are you at being truthful? And also, boys and girls, with that, you reap what you sow. If you deal with people in a dishonest way, the same is going to come back to you. If you're honest with people, people will be honest with you, boys and girls. You reap what you sow. The Jews were obeying, and God blessed them. We also see that God cares for his people and meets their needs. There's a lot to gather from even this short lesson. Boys and girls, look forward to not hearing from you. Sorry. I wish I could, though. Yeah, you'll be hearing from me. I look